Imagine a story so shrouded in mystery that even the most plugged-in people have no clue it exists. A tale about Barron Trump, the youngest son of one of the most famous families in the world, that's been kept under wraps, away from the headlines, the gossip columns, and the endless churn of social media. Today we're diving into something nobody talks about, not because it's forbidden, but because it's simply unknown. What happened to Barron Trump? Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride through speculation, subtle clues, and a narrative that's been hiding in plain sight. Let's start with who Barron Trump is, or at least who we think he is. Born in 2006, Barron William Trump is the only child of Donald and Melania Trump. From the moment he entered the world, he was destined for a life under the microscope. The Trump name carries weight, love it or hate it, and Barron, even as a kid, couldn't escape the shadow of his father's larger-than-life persona. But unlike his older siblings, who embraced the spotlight, Barron always seemed different, quiet, reserved, almost like he was living in a parallel world, untouched by the chaos of the Trump empire. Growing up, Barron was rarely seen in public. Sure, there were the obligatory family photos, the occasional appearance at a campaign event, but compared to the rest of the Trumps, Barron was a ghost. The media, for once, seemed to respect his privacy, maybe because he was a minor, or maybe because Melania fiercely guarded his personal life. Whatever the reason, Barron's low profile only fueled curiosity. What was he like behind closed doors? What was his life really like, growing up as the youngest Trump in a world obsessed with his family? By the time Barron was a teenager, the internet had painted a picture of him. Tall, strikingly handsome, with his mother's sharp features and his father's commanding presence, he was often called the mysterious Trump. Social media buzzed with comments about his height. He's reportedly over 6 feet 7 inches, and his style, always polished, always impeccable. Some saw him as a future heartthrob, others as a potential political heir. But here's the thing, almost everything we know about Barron comes from speculation. He doesn't have a public social media presence. He doesn't give interviews. He's a blank slate. And that's exactly what makes this story so intriguing. Let's fast forward to 2023. Barron is 17, finishing high school, and the world is starting to wonder what's next for him. Will he follow his siblings into the family business? Will he carve his own path, maybe in sports? He's a known soccer enthusiast, or something completely unexpected. The Trump family is in the spotlight again, with Donald Trump's political moves dominating headlines. But Barron, he's still in the background, almost invisible. And then, something shifts. Barron, now a young adult, is at a crossroads. He's not just the quiet kid anymore. He's someone with his own ambitions, his own dreams. But growing up Trump means your life isn't entirely your own. There's pressure, unimaginable pressure, to live up to the name, to be part of the legacy. Maybe Barron wanted out. Maybe he pushed back against the expectations, against the idea that he had to be a certain kind of Trump. Just maybe, that pushback led to a moment that changed everything. Barron's relationship with his father, Donald Trump, is less visible and more complex, shaped by Donald's demanding career, public persona, and the significant age gap between them. Donald was 60 when Barron was born. While there's no doubt that Donald loves Barron, their bond appears less intimate than Barron's relationship with Melania, reflecting Donald's parenting style and the realities of his high-profile life. Donald Trump's parenting has historically been characterized by high expectations and a focus on success, traits evident in his relationships with his older children, who joined the family business and embraced public roles. With Barron, however, Donald has taken a more hands-off approach, likely influenced by Melania's insistence on giving Barron a private childhood. In interviews, Donald has praised Barron's intelligence and potential, often noting his height. Barron is reportedly over 6 feet 7 inches, and describing him as a great kid. In a 2020 campaign rally, Donald jokingly remarked that Barron makes better computers than anybody, hinting at pride in his son's tech-savvy nature. These comments suggest affection, but also a tendency to view Barron through the lens of achievement, consistent with Donald's public persona. Public interactions between Barron and Donald are rare, but when they occur, they reveal a dynamic that is formal, yet affectionate. During Donald's presidency, Barron was occasionally seen with his father at events like the White House Easter egg roll or boarding Air Force One, often standing slightly apart but attentive. Body language experts have noted that Barron mirrors Donald's confident posture at times, suggesting a subconscious influence. However, unlike his older siblings, Barron has not been drawn into Donald's political or business orbit, indicating a deliberate separation, likely orchestrated by Melania. Donald's demanding schedule, spanning business, media, and politics, has likely limited his day-to-day involvement in Barron's life. In a 2006 interview with New York Magazine, Donald admitted that he was less involved in parenting Barron than Melania, stating, "I'm not going to be doing the diapers. I'm not going to be making the food." This division of roles suggests that Barron's primary emotional support comes from Melania, with Donald playing a more distant but still significant role. Despite this distance, there are signs of a growing connection as Barron has entered adulthood. In recent years, Barron has been spotted at Trump family events, such as dinners at Mar-a-Lago, where he appears more engaged with his father. Donald's comments about Barron's potential have also become more frequent, particularly since Barron turned 18 in 2024. In a 2024 interview, Donald described Barron as a great student and very smart, fueling speculation about Barron's future role in the family. Some reports suggest Barron has advised his father on appealing to younger voters, indicating a shared interest in Donald's political endeavors, though Barron remains publicly silent. The age difference and Donald's polarizing public image likely add layers of complexity to their relationship. Barron, growing up in the digital age, is acutely aware of his father's controversies, which may shape their dynamic in ways that are not fully visible. Unlike his siblings, who actively defend Donald in public, Barron's silence suggests he prefers to maintain distance from the political fray, a choice that may reflect both his personality and Melania's influence. What could it be? Let's explore the possibilities. One theory is that Barron made a decision, a big one, that caught everyone off guard. Maybe he chose a path so unexpected that the family decided to keep it under wraps. Could he have enrolled in a university abroad, somewhere far from the US, under a different name to escape the spotlight? It's not impossible. Melania, with her European roots, could have helped him start fresh somewhere like Slovenia or Switzerland, where he could live without the Trump baggage. Another possibility is more personal. Maybe Barron faced a challenge, something emotional, mental, or even physical, that required him to step away from a public life entirely. The Trump family has always been private about health matters, and Barron's absence could be a sign that he's dealing with something serious. It wouldn't be the first time a high-profile family shielded a child from scrutiny during a difficult time, or, and this is where it gets wild, maybe Barron stumbled into something bigger. A secret project, a hidden passion, or even a controversy that the Trumps are desperate to keep quiet. Could he have gotten involved in something that threatened the family's image? A business deal gone wrong? A friendship with the wrong person? The possibilities are endless, and the lack of information only fuels the fire. So, what do we have to go on? Not much, but enough to keep us guessing. There's the fact that Barron's public appearances have dwindled even more in recent years. Even at major family events, he's often missing or barely visible. There's the way Melania talks about him in interviews. Always protective, always vague, like she's guarding a secret. And then there's the internet, where eagle-eyed fans have noticed tiny details, a change in Barron's demeanor, a shift in how the family refers to him, even the way Donald Trump seems to avoid questions about his youngest son. One particularly strange clue came from a post on X, not a verified source, just a random user who claimed to have seen Barron at a private event. The post described him as distant, like he was carrying the weight of the world. It was deleted within hours, but not before it sparked a flurry of speculation. Was it true? Was it nothing? We don't know, but it's the kind of thing that keeps this mystery alive. The bigger question is, why hasn't this story, whatever it is, come to light? The Trumps are no strangers to media scrutiny. Every move they make is dissected, analyzed, and turned into headlines. So how has something about Barron stayed hidden? The answer might lie in the family's power. The Trumps have resources, legal, financial, and social, that most families can only dream of. If they wanted to keep something quiet, they could. And Melania, in particular, has always been fiercely protective of Barron's privacy. Another possibility is that the story isn't hidden because of a cover-up, but because it's just not interesting to the mainstream. Maybe it's too personal, too nuanced, or too far removed from the political circus that dominates Trump-related news. Or maybe, and this is the kicker, Barron himself is the one keeping it quiet. Maybe he's chosen to step away, to live a life where the world doesn't know his every move. In a family built on publicity, that would be the ultimate rebellion. What does this mean for Barron, for the Trumps, for us? If this story is real, it's a reminder that even the most famous people have private lives, hidden struggles, and moments that shape them in ways we'll never understand. Barron Trump, at 19, is still so young. He has his whole life ahead of him, and whatever happened, whether it was a choice, a challenge, or something else entirely, it's part of his journey.